Today's theme is about 80's and 90's children versus 2000's children. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, there's so much contrast between my generation and the generation from today. So many different aspects of what has gone on from 20, 30 years ago from what's actually going on today. For example, video games, cell phones, social media, so many things, flat screen TVs that we did not have. It wasn't even heard of back in the 80's, let alone today, where someone will tell you, I'm not using that. Ah, that's old. I want a flat screen. Where we didn't have um, we didn't have the choice of what we wanted to use. Whatever our parents told us, that's what we were doing. We had chores set up for us every Saturday morning, and if we didn't do our chores, we didn't get anything else. We were told what we were going to eat, and that's what we were going to eat. And if we didn't like it, I know in my situation, I got beat. Others, they were just sent back to their rooms if they had one to go and starve. Let's bring out let's bring our let's bring in our panel. All right, all righty, all righty, all righty. let's bring let's bring in our panel. We have on our panel today. We have Miss Lady D.
The one and only. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. That was real serious. That was deep, right? Yeah, it was for me too.
And we have a newbie on our panel today. Guest panel today, Miss Jennifer. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm well. I'm well.
Welcome. Welcome to
Enjoying
the
moment.
Esteban Hour.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Are you?
I am. I haven't seen you in so long.
You got a lot to say?
Yes, always. All I do is talk. You know me for how long? You know all I do is talk.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so what we're talking about today is how it is the difference between us. Most of us are all 80's. No, all of us are 80's kids, 80's children, and we all have children. Okay, we all have children ranging from 10 to 20 years old. So what we're discussing is that the difference is between when we were 10 years old and 20 years old versus our children today. I want to start with you, Lady D. Do you agree that there is a difference between the upbringing or the generation, not the upbringing, but the generation of today's children versus 20, 30 years ago?
I think that's evident. I think we know that there's a difference. We see it. We see it in our kids' mannerism. We see it in how, excuse me, they speak to their elders. We see it in how they conduct themselves in school. We see it all around. So that goes without saying that yes, there is a major difference in our generation versus the generation now. Now, would you say that they have more access? They do in the world of of the internet and technology, but they're
They have
lacking
more access to everything
to everything.
today.
But they're
And if
lacking.
they don't get it, there's a problem.
True, but that's my point. But they have access, but they're lacking. They're lacking the core foundation of what is a human being and knowing, responsibility and knowing to take care of yourself and knowing how to be respectful to
So
your elders.
so where
Know
does that
how
come
to
from? How did that start? Because I know you're not going to say that your child is lacking because of you not teaching them. I know you're teaching your children perfectly. So where's that coming from?
well, we already know it starts at home. It starts at home. I think this generation of parents. I think my generation of parents still follow some type of traditionalism, so to speak. I think the next level of parents, those kids who have had kids, unfortunately, are not following that tradition in a sense of
I think it's just that they're desensitized. right? So they see and
What do
they're
you mean by
exposed.
desensitized?
They see and they're exposed to so much that they don't even see, right? As parents, we can only guard as much as we can to what they see and what they don't see, but they're
Mm-hmm.
also in school, they see things from kids when they do
Mm-hmm.
have their phone that we're not on top of them seeing what they're doing. They
Right.
also have access to a lot of things, a lot of even the news, like they that all programs into what they're doing and what how they act. They just lack compassion, and it's just like they
That's a good point.
respect the elders and stuff like that, but you as a parent have to install that in that. Even my kids, they go through, they're not really affectionate or anything like that, and they're not used to saying hi to somebody with a hug and a kiss. And my kids are like because I taught them, well, it's just like
So I was just
it's
about to
just like
say that.
yeah.
So did you teach them to be
Yeah,
that
to
way?
be that way, because it's just like you can't, I mean, it's just trust issues, but it's also because like the internet has also shown them a lot. So they're a lot, my 9-year old has a body of a 15-year old, and she acts like she wants to be 30 years old already, and it's just like the sass, and she's the baby, but
Oh,
it's
the
just like
sass. Oh,
she's
the
also
sass.
the access that she has, and then she tries to put up a front with her friends. She's 9, talking about, oh, crush. No, you better stop it. Like, you better stop that. And then the 11-year old, he's really, he's into the video games. The 17-year old, I lost him into the video games. That was the worst thing I could have done, was to introduce Jason to video games at the age that I did, because I felt like I completely lost him. He that's all he wants to do. He has a virtual girlfriend. His girlfriend lives in
Get
Europe. His
out.
girlfriend lives in Europe, and I mean, if he's happy, and that's fine. But it's just like it's also that physical aspect that he's also a 17-year-old, with a girlfriend in Europe. What you're
A
not, you're
virtual
I mean,
girlfriend.
it's just because like they found each other, so he has this Oculus. It's a product of Facebook, and they talk to people all over the world, and they have like chat rooms and stuff like that, and he's exposed. He has friends all over the world. That's also something very different than what I grew up.
Very different.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
Very
different.
different.
Because
We used
us,
to
it
write
was
letters and
dial
put
up.
stamps on it. You remember that back in the day? You at camp and you
Yes.
write
Yes.
letters. Mom, I ran out of toilet
Right.
paper. Please,
Girl, you went to camp.
pack
I
my
didn't go to
favorite
camp.
pajamas.
I didn't go to camp
Please,
either.
please. No, camp. I was just being a smart. Camp. My mother could not afford camp.
I didn't go to camp either.
My camp was the park down the block.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come home before the light comes on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or my mom was coming out with a belt to come chase me.
Before that light
How
come
many
on.
times did she not go to the block looking for
Oh,
me?
No, hanging out the
as a
window.
matter of fact, yes.
Looking
Her
at the
mother, we used to look like, oh, this broad is crazy. Who- What? Jen, your mother.
Don't tell her I'm not here. Tell her I'm not here.
Yes, yes.
Please tell her I'm not here. No. But stop it. What was I doing? I was cooking and cleaning and making sure I was mom mode. Even when I was a teenager, who was doing all of that? Me. When Bianca was chasing after me with my little
But
belly.
your mama didn't trust you.
No, but it's because she couldn't find me.
The beauty about
We didn't
today's
have
technology.
cell phones.
I was about to
We
say,
didn't have
the
cell
beauty about today's technology is I can find you.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
location
right,
on
right.
all the
Location on
time.
at all the times. I need to know where you at all the time. But again, I think technology has its perks and it has its positives as
Oh, of
well as
course.
it has its negatives. And I think as parents, our fear is the negative, right? In teaching your kid what to be aware of, teaching them the safety measures,
Yes,
right?
of course.
And teaching them to be honest and forthcoming too, because that's the other part. They can say what they're looking at, and you can check. You can check your history log and Google and see what your kids are looking at. But there
Mhm.
also needs to be that trust and honesty between you two as a parent that you want to have. And I think what's nice about our generation with our kids is that we are able to speak freely. I think our parents didn't speak so freely on certain topics. It was taboo. It was just something you didn't
Right.
discuss.
No, and in fact, you didn't want to speak to your parent, right?
Well, no, because they
You
made everything seem like if you do this, you're gonna die.
yeah,
Another world,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
If you
yes.
do this, you're gonna die, or. But I think our parents and the kids' grandparents have come a long way. I see how my mom interacts with my children, and her whole attitude has changed from when she raised us.
Oh, but that's because
It's
she also has technology too, and
I,
I'm
well,
pretty
I don't
sure
know.
Facebook
I
has
don't know
put
if
up
it's
in my.
technology versus. I think it's true when they say as grandparents you treat your grandchildren differently. I think there's truth in that. I think
Which is
makes
it's
sense.
not it makes
No,
sense,
It
but
no,
makes
it's
sense.
not
it's
fair.
no, but it's scientifically proven, especially with. I was just talking about this yesterday. I told you this yesterday. So as women, when we carry our daughters are developing in our bodies. Our daughters' eggs are also developing in their body. We're also carrying our grandchildren at that
Mm-hmm.
point.
Mm-hmm.
So that scientific bond that we have, but then I also said the same thing that it's also that trauma that we have in our DNA from generations past that also carries on to us that and that's what we're initially passing on to,
But the
right?
fathers do the same thing too. They're very tough on their sons, but their grandchildren or their grandsons,
Yeah, but
they
it's just like second chance, right? It's also right that they feel like they need to. It depends on the what kind of relationships you have because
Of
not
course.
every family dynamic is like that. Like my mom is real hands off with my kids because I allow her to be too, and it's just also because she's older. I feel that if she didn't have that, what would she be doing? You know, like she likes to be. That's like her activeness. That's her
Mm-hmm.
life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what she's worried on them. It's different could because she's single. If she was married and she had her own dynamic, it
right,
would be
right.
different. But because she doesn't, she holds on to them and to the family dynamic. That's what she holds on to.
So who so you both have kids, you both have families. Have you ever gone through the scenario of the kicking and screaming or the tantrum
Oh, of course, that's
when
like one of the kids.
but hold on. When your child not because your child doesn't get something, but because your child doesn't like or appreciate what he got. You
I
know.
feel like yeah. I mean, but we say that we don't remember acting that bratty when we were growing up, but I'm pretty sure it's just like there's different ages and phases that kids go through and they grow out of it. Like my daughter used to be a biter, kicker, screamer. They grow out of it. It's just when they don't get what they want, right? That the only way they want to manipulate you. Kids
I
just
mean,
want to
no doubt, no
manipulate you.
doubt. But isn't it different to where like okay, as a 10-year-old I wanted a piece of pie. I just wanted pie.
Yeah.
Where my children, no, they want that piece of pie. Or they want blueberry pie. You have apple pie. I don't want that. But I have a whole apple pie. Take a piece. I don't want that. I want blueberry pie. Or I want this piece.
I'm sorry. Again, I don't understand what the question is. The question is, if this is what I have, then this is what you get. See, that rule I still follow. I'll tell you right
Yeah.
now.
I
No,
I
no, no. I'm
don't.
gonna tell you right. No, I still. No, 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 no. You know why? Because the other thing that you have to teach your children, they feel like they're born. In some sense, they are born with this silver spoon in their mouth. Okay. The right. Well, I have the right to have choices, Mom. You do have the right to have choices, but I'm gonna help guide you in those choices so that you make the best choice. You understand what I'm saying? I said to my daughter one time. I said, "Listen, I think sometimes kids think that parents are like correction officers. And what do you mean when you say that, Mom? Meaning, my job is to tell you, get up, take a bath, what time to eat, what time to sleep, what time you can read, what time you can poop. And I had to tell her, I said, I'm not a correction officer. She says, but you always tell me what time I gotta go to bed, and you tell me I do. But I am a coach. Now, what's the difference between a coach and a correction officer? A coach is going to guide you. I'm going to give you guidance to how to play the game of life.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm
And
saying?
also, you're not going to
So,
tell them that
so,
game 1,000
so
times.
my point is, when I speak to my daughter and I give you the option of pie or no pie, I'm offering you this. Like in life, you have choices in life. Just like this pie is a choice. Now you don't have to take it, but that means you get nothing. I'm not gonna jump through hoops to
That
go
means you
get a
get
sugar
nothing.
when you have an acceptable apple pie here. This is the problem with our children, and this is the problem with us as adults. We seem to want to jump through hoops. I explain to my children all the time, you're eating things that a lot of kids don't have the opportunity to eat every day. So
Right.
before you sit here and come and tell me, well, mommy, I don't eat that. Well, let's see what other options we have here because we ain't buying that.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
You understand what I'm saying?
completely,
So that's the problem. I feel that there was a lack of appreciation, or more that it is, how you say it, that entitlement.
yeah. But
You're not entitled, and not to cut you off, but I had to tell my daughter one time, you're not entitled to anything but an education. It ain't got to be private. Food, it ain't got to be steak and rice. As long as it's bread and peanut butter, it's food and eggs and clothing. It ain't got to be designer. That's my
But that
obligation and my legal obligation. Anything outside of that is extra.
but that's exactly how we were taught.
And
But
that's how
not
I teach my
but
kids.
but not everybody's child today will react that way. You know, I love my daughters. I love my kids, but they're brats. They will literally sit there and starve in my face. Well, daddy,
Don't face me.
I'm not eating anything.
All right.
Because they know how to get me. So they know that I'm gonna, that sensitive bone inside of me is gonna be like, all right, honey, fine. You want to eat, you want that bowl of cereal? Okay, go ahead. You want me to buy you something from outside? Go ahead. But we didn't have that. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
It was do or die. It was eat or starve. Our parents didn't care.
But you know what? And here's the other thing, going back to just now, the difference in our generation. Because our parents were strict, because our parents laid down the law, there was a respect there that our kids, unfortunately, do not have now. Some do.
Yes.
Some do. But most don't.
Yes.
And when I say have respect, like, there's certain things I would never say in front of my mother. I had respect for my mom.
Even today.
Now, as an adult. I'm a grown, married woman. But out of respect for my mother, I'm not going to say certain things. You understand what I'm saying? You have children right now. When you hear some of these kids and how they talk to their parents, or even like you said, that little 3-year-old or 6-year-old having a tantrum in the street, we gonna have a problem. Who are you talking to like that? And you know what? Let me be very clear. You know, there's a difference between discipline and abuse. Let me say that again. There is a difference between discipline and abuse.
Yeah, but apparently the government don't understand that.
The government wants to seem to do like everything else that they do is get into people's affairs. Because that's what the government does. Get into affairs. See, you quick to say, oh my God, that's abuse. That's abuse. No, it's not abuse. What I'm trying to do is prevent my son, who's already a black, he has the first thing, crossed against him, being African American. What I'm trying to do is raise him right for him to understand he will not be in front of you ever in his life. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to teach our kids. But again, goes back to just the respect that needs to be there. I don't see why kids throwing themselves on the floor. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like my kids haven't had a moment where they was upset. You get over it. You be all right.
I mean,
I threatened to leave. I'm walking away. You're gonna do that. Listen, I'm not trying to say that I go into every need or every want. It's just like the situations are different. Even growing up, like you guys have siblings. I was the baby. I didn't have any other siblings in the house, so I wasn't fighting over I want this or that. I went to the supermarket. I got what I wanted because I was the only one there. I'm picking Fruit Loops or Cocoa Pebbles. That's what I'm getting, and that I'm good. I don't have to do that. But with my kids, it's different. I feel like with me, I go and I give them a lot of options. I really do, so that they don't bother me about that. You can't say that there's nothing there. There's plenty of stuff there. Now, if you don't eat what's in the house, I'm not going out of my way to go get you stuff from outside. But it's just because they do have different taste palettes. They don't. Like Julius,
I agree.
Julius didn't eat anything red for years. I'm talking about ketchup, tomatoes, anything red. My son did not eat for years. He still doesn't eat ketchup or anything like that. Crazy. Jason doesn't eat eggs or mayonnaise. My daughter thinks she's allergic to blackberries. So things with mixed berries in it, she doesn't do.
I mean,
it's just like different things like that. It's just like, but like, I will, okay, so I'm cooking rice, steak, and everything. If Jason goes, oh, I want mac and cheese, I will go and I'll make him mac and cheese, I will do that. Again, like if I'm already in the kitchen,
That's not on the menu.
I did that last night. I've done different different
No,
meals
that's
for
not what I'm
everybody in my house. And my mom, Julius will come. I like crawfish. I want crawfish. Julius
Oh,
has it.
hell
I will
no.
go and I will make him his own little thing, and then the other kids, whatever
Did
they
you
want.
just say you
Yeah.
make different meals for every? Okay.
Even my mom, they all get spoiled. But I like to be in the kitchen. I like to cook. I don't mind it.
So I guess
It's
that's
not
different.
coming
If you
out
like to
of-
do it,
It's not coming out of, oh, that I'm resenting you because you're
Right.
making me. Nobody's making me. And if
No,
I
you
say
do.
no,
Okay.
I
so
say
so
no.
that's
Yeah.
different.
I
Well,
don't
that's
mind. My
different.
daughter tells me I want to bake a cake. Okay, if I'm in the kitchen, the oven's already on. We're making
No,
a cake.
that's different,
you know,
and
stuff
I
like
get that
that.
because my son has done it. Mommy, I want to make cupcakes, and when you're in the kitchen, all right, come on, let's make. No, that I totally get, and that makes sense. You know, people have a different palate. The same thing with my daughter, my son doesn't eat eggs. You know, and it's funny they do. You don't eat eggs. You know, this person doesn't eat that, and my husband doesn't eat ham or pork. I get it. My thing is just more of the structuredness of it. You know, that's like if I made Sunday dinner. And, you know, my kids ask me, Mom, what you cooking? So it's not like you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to say, well, I'm thinking about spaghetti. I'm thinking about lasagna. What do you think? You know what I mean? Like, I'll throw it past them. But if I'm cooking something and you're like, okay, well, Ma, I don't want to eat that. I'm not cooking something else on a Sunday. I
haven't gone through that
in
in me cooking scenarios. I've gone through that with the kids, like going out to parties and they're like, I'm not eating that. Then I'm like, I gotta find something for my kids to eat because they really don't eat that, you know. And sometimes people don't always cook good, so you know.
Well, no, that's
you
different. If you're at a gathering and you just don't eat
or
the
you
food,
don't,
no, that's totally different.
You
That
don't
makes
know
sense.
how everybody, you know,
Everybody's
what the
hands ain't
kitchen,
clean. No,
yes,
everybody's
the
hands
kitchen
ain't clean.
ain't. So I'm
No,
real
no, I
icky
get
with
it.
that, but. And then I don't mind.
No, but I do think
know.
it goes back to I think we give our children a lot of choices, and the problem with
That's
that,
just it. I think we give
them
our
too many.
we give our children too many
We give them too many
choices.
choices.
We had it was either just one thing or it was one or the
But
other.
then we resent our children because we didn't have those choices.
Exactly.
But that's not
okay.
their fault.
I wanted to.
But
I wanted to.
That has made us better parents because of it.
No, that just made us stronger because we struggled.
But
that don't
listen,
mean that it would have been.
No. The reason why it makes us better and the reason why the struggle is real and why the struggle is important, because of the struggle, you appreciate more. I think because our kids
But you don't
have
appreciate
that option.
Until you have kids. You don't appreciate that until you have kids, until you start paying bills, until you start paying.
I'm not taking,
you do not have that because the careless, no kids. I'm in my 20s, 30s.
But
They're not caring about nothing.
I'm not taking anything away from that. When you're in that age of 25 and 30, you're doing you're feeling yourself out, you're trying to find yourself. What I'm saying is what your parent teach or taught you comes into effect when you become a parent. And what I'm saying is some of their workflows or some of their procedures or some of their actions, I think as parents has helped us to be better parents. The only problem I see in us is the fact that we give our children too many choices because we felt like our parents restricted us. We didn't have it. The problem with that is it has backfired. It has
totally
backfired to a point where an entitlement has been taken on from our children where they feel, well, no, Ma, I'm supposed to have $200 Jordans.
Right. No, you're not. No, you're not.
You're supposed to have
a
pair of sneakers to get from point A to point B. It does not have to be Jordans.
And let me bring up, let me touch a little bit on what you're saying, because that is, as a parent, as a father, that is one regret I have. I had nothing as a kid. We were poor. Now, you know, my mother did the best that she could with what she had, but I had nothing. And I promised myself that my children would not suffer or long for anything. Whatever they wanted, they will have, and they got. But my children are so spoiled.
They're spoiled in their breath.
So spoiled, it's not even funny. I just want to smack them in their face.
I say that too.
Because it comes from, because again, that trauma of not having, as the person who's able to produce now and to give now, you want to give the next generation because you feel like, man, I suffered for not having that. In somewhat sense, though, that suffering has made you a better person because you don't take things for granted.
Right.
Our children has this concept like you are entitled. I'm not entitled to buy you an Apple phone. You know, my first electronic device was a beeper, and I can tell you right now, I packed bags, I met food, and that's how I bought my first beeper. Okay, my mother wasn't going out there to buy no beeper. She couldn't afford no damn beeper. Beeper.
I remember. Let me tell you a personal
Kids don't
experience for me.
they the hustle.
That's true. That's
They don't
true.
understand or respect the hustle.
I remember as a kid, 5, 6, 7 years old. There was a kid that lived in the bedroom over me, and this was when Nintendo was brand fresh new. Super Mario Brothers. I heard that music night after night after night after night, and I used to cry in my bed because I wanted a Nintendo. And I used to think at that time that my mother was doing it on purpose, that she didn't want to get it for me. But I longed for that, and I would hear that music night after night. And one of the first things that I bought myself when I turned 13, 14 is a Nintendo. But I will never forget that feeling that I had of that wanting that. What is wrong with me? Why can't I have that? Why can't my? How did they get that? Of course, as a child, you don't know the economics between what goes on with your parents and their jobs and their professions, and everyone picks a different job, a different profession. But I used to sit and sob. I want that too. But like Lady D said, as an adult, it's become the total opposite, to where even myself, not just my children, I totally spoil myself. I don't even stop to ask myself, do you really need that? Nope.
Well, that's
I just go and get it.
but that's only that's the other left. That's the other left because
That's the other left.
because and I don't want to say it's psychological. I'm not a doctor, and I can't look at it in that context.
Somewhat, it's a little psychological.
In my opinion, I think there is some psychological aspect to this. But what I would say is you're going from one extreme to the other.
Right.
So by not being able to afford and be able to do, now that you're at a point in life where you're able to do, you buy and consume everything.
Right.
That's not good either.
Right.
When you really think about it, because how many shoes or shirts can you wear? How many pairs of underwear can you really wear? No, I'm not trying to.
Well,
be
if you look
funny.
in my closet, you could wear about 200.
Every day, every day. My closet's the same. I can't even say nothing. Stop it.
But you gotta. But listen, you gotta put things in perspective.
No, it's true. It's true.
There's a level of balance that one needs to have in their life, whether it's financial matters, where if it's education, or you have to have a balance. And when you overdo something, sometimes you're compensating for something else, or sometimes you're trying to heal something. And I think in this case, you're
Right.
trying to heal that that loss or that lack thereof, and so you try to fill it with material items. And unfortunately, material items are what they are, just material items at the end of the day. You close your eyes, you can't take anything you have with you. So what difference does it make?
But it's holding on to the past, though.
That's
Like,
the other part too.
You gotta let it go.
You gotta let that go.
Right? Because a lot of people hold on to that, oh, well, I went through that when I was a kid. I want my kids to
Right.
go through
Right.
that.
No, it's
At
true.
the end of the day, it's not the same time. It's not the same world. We
Not-
also went through a lot of different things. Every dynamic is different, but we also can't stay in the same patterns.
Right.
We gotta change.
So
it
tell
up.
me something. Changing the subject a little bit when it comes to chores. Do y'all remember? Did you have the scenario as children where Saturday mornings you got up and you had a chore to do, whether it was cleaning your room, cleaning the bathroom, washing the dishes, and then after you did what your parents told you to do, then you can go out and play, or then you can go and do whatever it is that you had to do. Jennifer, did you have that?
I did not. So because my mom was older when she had me, and she
Right.
was like mostly, I did all of that, but not because it was imposed on me. I
Okay.
did all of that. I woke up, I cleaned. It wasn't Saturday mornings, and like it's different cultures as well.
Right.
And I
And you
cleaned
were the
and I cooked.
baby,
Yeah, I
and
was
I
the
think
baby,
that
and
mattered a lot.
I took care of her. So it's just like I got up and I did the stuff, but she didn't impose it on me the way that, you know, other kids have had it. Like, I know too, like, I know the struggle. You didn't do your chores, you're not going out. With me, it's just like I felt like I had to do it. I mean, I always wash dishes because I was the
What
one cooking.
what about you, Lady D?
Oh, my brother wasn't playing that. Saturday morning, we was cleaning. We was wiping walls. Okay,
Yeah.
wiping walls, and it's funny because my daughter, I do impose chores. My daughter's responsible for cleaning the bathroom. I don't clean the bathroom, especially because you and your brother share it, and children are nasty.
Okay. Okay.
I'm thankful that me and
Do
my husband
does
have
she
a bathroom
complain
in
to
our
you
suite.
about it?
She doesn't complain about it anymore. Because she's now into that habit, and she does get an allowance for it. It becomes routine. What I found with my daughter is, like any kid, they like to rush. And when you rush,
They didn't do it right.
you didn't do it 100%. So her problem is, she'll do it, but and it kills me because you would think by now, sweetheart, you should know your mom. You know, I come in with an expected, I look in crevices and crap. I'm in the bathroom. You know, you in the bathroom just sitting there and you start looking around.
The OCD.
I find stuff.
No,
I find stuff.
not just that. It's like you have an eyeball. You don't even have to find it. Your eyeball just goes right to it.
You just see. So I know that she hates me for that. But anyway, what I'm trying to teach her right now. So we have a routine. She has her chores, and we do give her allowance for it. What I'm trying to teach her though is you do it right the first time. You don't have to come back to it. That's the stage that we're at. We're at the stage of, if I check the mirror the last Saturday, I'm going to check the mirror this Saturday.
Right.
So make sure you clean the mirror. You know what I mean?
Does she ask you for money?
Well, I give her an allowance. But that's because you did your chores, right? And their chores, let me be very clear. Their chores compared to our chores is bumpers.
Lightweight.
It's lightweight. I had to tell her one time, I said, listen, you know that toilet wand thing? You think back in the day we had toilet wand? We had gloves.
You had your hand.
Yellow gloves. Which was my hand.
Brillo.
Okay?
You got gloves?
No, we had gloves. We had gloves. But no, it's not even that. We used to wipe walls. I remember on Saturday we used to wipe walls, especially if you have a marker or, you know, you fling stuff on it. We used to have to wipe walls. My daughter ain't never wiped a wall in her life. Okay? And dishes, she's always grown up with a dishwasher. So because she's always grown up with the dishwasher, she ain't never really had to. So anytime she's washing dish, I gotta go back and check.
See, I think like
I gotta go back and check because they grew up with a dishwasher.
But
She
with
doesn't
me,
know.
it's different. See, because my mom was so very nonchalant and like, oh, you know, I'm imposing chores. You're gonna help me. I do everything by myself, and I'm very OCD. The boys do take out the trash, put the dishes away. My daughter washes dishes. She cooks too. I make sure that they clean up after themselves. Even if I have to tell them to do it, they will do it. Jason gets his allowance. You know what his allowance is, and it's just like, it's crazy because like even growing up, I never Jason gets $50 a week.
Wow.
$10 a day.
What?
For doing what? That's like for his lunch in school, and then for his chores that he does through the week. Yes. Yes.
What is he pulling off?
Yes.
I mean, it's not. Listen again.
I mean, it's not. It sounds like so much because
it's
what
really
we
not.
went to.
It's really not.
But $10 a day for like honestly, lunch and breakfast, lunch in school. He goes to school he leaves the house at 7:00 in the morning. He usually doesn't come back until 5:00 in the afternoon. You know, $10 a day is not.
That's
a
not
lot.
a lot. It's really not. When you think
but
about
that's
it,
$200 a month that you're just doing just
soda,
on lunch. And then the thing is that the little kids too. I got them their lunch from
kids.
I have 3, girl. And I do it by myself.
Nope. This is why I have 2 kids. Kids are expensive. And it's funny because, you know, my kid, Mom, we're gonna have, so Elijah wants a brother, Ari wants a sister, and you're getting nothing.
Girl, tubes are tied. They ain't nothing coming out new. I got 2 boys and a girl.
My husband, and it was funny because I remember they brought this up to their father one day, and my husband turns to me, he said, Rose, see it. Is there another sex that I don't know about? What you mean? It's only boy and girl, right? I said, yeah. He said, then we good. We got a boy and a girl. What else do we need? You know what I mean? So it's funny because I'm with them. And I explained that to them. I said, y'all guys don't realize, you kids are expensive. When you think about paying for snacks and you're thinking about curricular activities after work. So, my daughter, they swim. Both of them swim. And this one is in hip hop dance and then jazz ballet. And when you start thinking about all these things, the carpooling, all these things, and that's again, this goes back to we didn't have that growing up. These kids now have it, and I think they feel like they're supposed to have it.
Right.
And that's the only issue that I
It's
see
entitlement.
with
Entitlement.
with the difference in the generation. For us, we was thankful for getting that.
Right.
I was thankful if you took me to the park.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we didn't go to a pool. You turned on the fire hydrant. That was your pool. So these are the things that we grew up with that they feel like they're supposed to have, and I think that is where the difference is.
Let me ask you, because you had touched on the scenario of that child in the store um um catching a tantrum.
Oh, I ain't having that.
I mean,
What do y'all do when y'all see that? Because I know when I see that, I'd be like,
I walk
oh
away.
hell.
Target
Hell
can
no.
have you.
I
Walmart
wish
can
my
have
child
you.
would
No,
do that.
if you're standing there watching a parent, and you know what, it's funny because you don't want to stand there and judge another parent.
Right.
Let's just be upfront about that. Because you don't know if that child who's having that tantrum has a mental disability.
Right.
Is nonverbal. You understand what I'm saying? So you don't want to judge, but I think, as being a your average Joe and average mom who stands on lines, I've seen kids where you have to turn around and look at the parent like, are you serious?
Are you serious?
Like, you really have to turn around and look at the parent like, are you not seeing
Do
this?
do you not see
Do you not
what
see
I
that?
see?
That just shows you how easy it is for two people to have a baby, and not everybody has the capacity to do what they're supposed to do. Kids also don't ask to be brought up into
Nope.
this world the same way we didn't ask to be brought into this world. We were just brought.
We
here. We here. We gotta make the best of it. But the thing is that, like, it's a lot of young kids having kids.
Oh, absolutely.
People in not stable relationships having kids, not financially stable having kids. That brings that.
Okay, so because you may not have been ready to have a kid, or you may not have been ready to get married or whatever, does that make it okay to allow your kid to go running amok in the store like they have no sense, and just let them go?
No, but then the thing is, like she said, there's also kids that have autism is like at an all time high, and then that, like, people get put on meds real quick. Kids get put on meds. It's just like you don't also know every situation. Some people like for a 2-year-old or 3-year-old to scream that they want something in the store and they don't get it. It's just like other things play into a factor, and unless you're really a parent, that you understand that they might have not eaten all of their lunch and they're cranky, they're tired, they missed their sleep, they woke up too early, they had a bad dream. These all play factors. And just like the same way you have moods, we all have mood swings, and we all go through things. Kids go through the same things, and the younger they are, the less verbal that they are. They don't know how to express it.
So I want to touch on that a little bit. You brought up the stigma of a child that may suffer from ADHD or autism. Do you think that it's different today or worse today than it was when we were children?
I think a lot of people get misdiagnosed, but then the thing is just that it's not something that you heard a lot about when we were growing up, to be cautious to kids. Like with me, my brother died from Down syndrome, and he had a PERT syndrome, so that was always apparent to me in my life. I also feel like I have to show my kids not all kids are the same. You have to be conscious and have compassion towards other kids that are different. Not everybody has the same capacity. And even
do you think there's been more compassion shown, or more training on showing that compassion today than there was 20-30 years ago?
I think because it's more apparent, a lot of people have more interaction with, oh, my friend's son, he's autistic, or, she has Down syndrome, or, she has mental disability. And it's not even a disability, because it's just that they function differently. It's just like everybody, it's more aware now, also because of technology, because it's more
Mm.
apparent, you see it more. But and there the compassion is there, or it's not, because it depends on how you're raised. A lot of people too. If you don't look at it, there's a lot of people that don't have compassion towards that, and they, oh no, it's just a kid running amok. Oh,
Right.
look, that mother is not doing what she got to do. But then
So
every situation is different. Now there is spoiled kids that you have to come. Oh no, well, and if she's not handling, or or here, take the phone, or you give in to those. But it's also because a lot of things are overwhelming. You're going through a lot. Everybody is like, we're all going. No matter how much you try to fake the front for the
right,
internet or whatever,
right.
everybody's going through something. And we all go through moments in the day where you just feel like breaking down, where you push yourself back up, and we all keep moving. That's what it is. But kids are different because they have to adjust. They have to learn. The same way that we're still learning, it's like we learn every day. We're new people every day, hopefully better people for what we go
So
through.
let's talk about the physical aspect of children today versus when we were children.
Oh, my kids are huge. I still think that it's like hormone based foods.
I was gonna say that.
I
I
really
think
do think that it's bad.
the truth of the matter is our children are developing way too fat, way too young. Our girls are getting their menstrual cycle way too young, and our boys are developing way too young. And the reason why that is because of our food.
I
And let's
agree.
be the
I
food that we
agree.
eat. The United States, when you think about the preservatives that they put or the chemicals that they spray on some of the fruits and the vegetables to preserve it because it's coming in from another country, it's unbelievable. And it gets into our kids, gets into their bloodstream, it affects their brain, it affects how they grow, it affects their hormones. Um, so yes, that's a huge factor. I think plays a part. And then the other part with our children and how they're developing is just social media.
It's technology. It is.
Technology and
It is.
sexism
I was
is
actually gonna
so
I
is
was
so rampant. So
yeah.
now you got 10-year olds have a menstrual cycle and breasts who
Yes.
think wearing a thong
Yes.
and a
Yes.
G-string is okay.
Yes.
You see how the correlation, how this is the problem?
Yes.
Thong at 10,
Yes.
a
Yes.
thong at
Yes.
10 years old with breasts, and it's really bad. We are living in just critical times, man. Because honestly, it's really bad for our children. It's nice because they have some perks, but I also feel very bad for this generation. I got to be quite honest. I think it's
I mean,
harder
I think
growing up
that
now.
it's
I
much
think it's
harder.
harder
It's much
to grow
harder.
up now, and I think we at the '80s, maybe early '90s, is really the last real generation in that
I
sense.
think it's just like they were
Music's
5, 10
garbage.
years apart, right? So like when our generation, we were battling what our previous, the 60s and the 70s, what our parents went through.
Of which we thought
Yeah.
was crap.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, we just
and
thought
then
it was
there's
boring.
just like what
No, we
do
thought
you
it was
mean?
boring.
Crap.
But they also had their trauma too.
Okay.
But the technology played such a big part in their their change, because it, like, diet is not only food, it's also what you ingest mentally. And it's just like
Absolutely.
that's what's also they see a lot.
Which
They
goes
see a
which
lot.
goes along with me saying that back then things was more physical, right? You went to the park, you went bowling, you went to go play ball, football, basketball.
They're all
Today
couch
it's
potatoes.
the kids don't want to go anywhere.
Yep.
They want to just stay in the house. They're
They're
on
all
the
couch
phone.
potatoes.
They're video games. So
But that's why us as parents, and you know what makes it hard, and you know what, and let me say this, as a working parent, it's not as easy as you want. You come home, I don't know about you guys, but you're mentally, depending on what you do. If your job is physical, you're physically
you're
tired.
exhausted.
If your job is a mental job, you're mentally tired. Like, I don't want to look at no computer when I come home. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't want. And then you figure by the time you come home, because you work so late, time you come home, it's like, dude, is homework done? Did you take a bath? I really can't run you to the park right now. It's not that I don't want to, but looking at the time,
I had to force myself to do that
you know.
with my children.
it's just, I think it's harder for parents now to be good parents. It's harder for us. You want to be good parents. You're devoted to being good parents, but there's only 24 hours in a day.
I was gonna say before that little gap there, I had to force myself to actually go to my kid and let me see your homework and all that because I didn't give a damn. I don't care.
At the end
I
of the
got so
day,
much crap
yeah.
to do and
At
on
the
my
end of the
mind. And
day,
what
yeah.
do you want, Dad? I don't understand this equation. I don't understand it either.
Well, no, that's the
It's
other
true, no,
problem.
but it's also because they changed a
That's
lot
what
of
I
stuff.
was going to say. The
Stop it.
math that they're
I'm like,
teaching,
wait.
the Eureka math, that threw me
No,
off.
this is not what I was doing. Jason? And Jason's like, I don't even know this. They changed this up
They
on
changed
me.
it. They changed it.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, so then we're going to go YouTube tutorials. We're going to figure this out.
Or we live by YouTube.
Yeah. Or that's why I have my kids in after school too, because I know they do homework in after
They
school.
do,
Right.
yes, they do after school.
I don't
yes.
even
My
want to
kids do
deal
it
with
after school,
homework
too.
coming home. You better have done that in school.
So now let's touch a little bit really quick on social media. You think social media is good or bad? I know what you're gonna say, but
No, I think under 16 it shouldn't be allowed. And I know they have a lot of like 13
under 16 years old.
I think that they shouldn't have social media under 16 years old. No, I think that bullying in school and kids are just mean. And then the thing is that kids are mean to other kids. And then it's also because what they're going through in the house, and every situation is different. Like my daughter, she is a bigger girl. She's the tallest one in her class. She is already prepubescent at 9 turning 10, and it's just like she doesn't feel the same as being next to another little kid in her, and she's like, change my class. I can't do nothing for you. Like, you're gonna grow it out. That there will be a point that there will be other kids bigger than you. It's just not yet.
So do you think that there's more fear between the kids today than there was back then? Because there was bullying then. I was bullied, but when I became a certain age, 12 years old, I grew balls. Even if I got beat up, it didn't matter. Let's go. So do you think that's different today, where people are just scared?
Well, my two little ones, they really don't care. They will fight in school. I have been called to the school. Julius has defended other kids, and he'll get in the mix. And my daughter, that with other little girls, this girl said something on Snapchat, and she put up a video. Yeah. I had to go to the school with her phone. I had to go to the school with her phone because this little girl said that she was going to beat my daughter up on Snapchat.
Say word.
And then I went to the director and I showed the video of the little girl saying it because her mom swore that she didn't have social media. And the little girl had like 700 videos out and like 10,000
What? What?
So
Wait. How many followers?
like 10,000 followers on TikTok. It was crazy. Yeah. No, and the mom swore.
Don't have to talk.
The mother
Now that's exactly what my husband's like. No. My daughter just got her cell phone for the first time this year. She turned 11, and she already knows. You have one time. And you won't see the sucker for a year. And I'm not even playing. You have one time to go left. So just keep it funky. Just be honest. Tell me, Ma, I want to look at something. Like, you have to have that balance. You have to have that balance with your kids. What I'm trying to teach is honesty. They come and tell me, what do you want to do? What are you interested in? But at the same time, like YouTube, I think YouTube they have like a kid's profile, then they have like a teenager profile. You know what I mean? And I think the kid's profile is what her father put. And she's like, well, Mom,
Yeah, but how many kids stick to that?
well, her thing was like, Mom, my shows that I watch is not on this
Yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah.
So, of course, I got to go to Dad. Like, okay, babe, can we compromise here? So he said, all right, well, there's another level. And he says, this level stays. Like, and that's her problem. Then you got to understand. I already spoke to Daddy. So we're going to go to another level, which is like the teenage level where you're able to see your shows. There's the compromise. Now, I find out you're doing something else. You lose it all together. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So now it's teaching, I met you halfway. You know what I mean? Be forthcoming and don't prove me wrong. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to go back when your father said, I told you so. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Like, don't
Right.
put egg on my face as my daughter. I'm trying to trust you. But that fear is still there, like any fear. You know, you got to be careful when you're on the internet. You got to make sure you're not putting any personal information. You know, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, school,
all that
address.
stuff you still have to teach, and you still have to constantly give them reminders because they're kids and they want to have fun. But you need to have those reminders. And again, it goes back to, I'm not correction officer, I'm a coach, and I'm going to give you options to teach yourself on making better choices in life. Every choice has a repercussion. And that's what I'm teaching my children.
But what were you doing on the internet when the internet came out?
Who, me?
Yeah, what were you doing? How old were you when the internet came out?
When we came out, well, first of all, it was a Macintosh. Was it Mac? Who turned
Yeah.
it to Apple? It was Macintosh.
Apple, yeah.
It was Microsoft.
Yeah.
And our first thing was a brother typewriter. I didn't. What did we have? I think we had like one computer.
Who the hell
remember the internet?
You know what? I remember when MySpace came out, and I never had a MySpace account. That was the first real Facebook, Twitter. If y'all remember, it was MySpace.
I did. I had a MySpace account. I did.
I never joined MySpace. And even now, I only still have just Facebook. And the reason why there is because, I want to stay connected to social media, but also at the same time, I don't want to stay connected to social media.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because now it's like your whole life is just out there for the taking. It's out there for the viewing. It's out there for somebody to keep my picture and press rewind every time they want to hear me say something stupid. Like, you know what I mean? There's a level of just privacy you still want to have.
Yeah, but I didn't have
There's
that.
no privacy.
I didn't have that growing up either, because I'm a few years younger. So like with me with the internet, when I first came up, that it was dial up, AOL, the disc and everything, AIM and Messenger. I remember chat rooms and like little group chats and stuff like that, and little
no, but that's what Lady D is talking about when she's saying the Apple. When she's saying about the Apple computer or the IBM, that's exactly what she's saying. The AOL, the dial-up.
But she didn't get in it. I'm telling you, I did, and it was scary too. That's why I'm on my kids.
It was very scary. Let me tell you something. I love those chat rooms.
It was very
that
scary.
Sounds like pure filth.
It
was pure filth.
That's why I know what to look for with my kids.
Yes.
My daughter, it's not that I bought them new phones. They got my old phones. It's not even that either. They got my old phones. And everything is synced to my accounts. Even Jason doesn't even know that I know.
He knows now he's watching this show.
Oh, wow. I mean,
he knows now he's watching this show.
But everything's synced to me. And I check their stuff like periodically because I'm on it. But my daughter is just like, with her, it's just like video chatting with her friends. I just have to make sure. And the thing is that like other kids, you can't control other kids too. Because absolutely. I don't accept cursing in my house, and my kids will not curse in front of me, or we're not that type of house. I don't smoke in my house. I don't drink in my house. We're not that type of house. But the little friends on the phone, and they start cursing. You better stop it. Hey, little girl, little boy, you better stop it. I'm gonna tell your mama. And
okay.
I like.
So you brought up you brought up a good point about cursing and stuff. Marijuana.
What about it?
The difference today than 20, 30 years ago. When we were teenagers, marijuana was illegal. You had to hide, right? You had to hide from your parents. You had to hide from most people.
That was the only people we were hiding it from. Stop it, because 20, we was there.
Most people. You had to hide it from the law. But today is so different. You have these kids, these teenagers just rolling up on the streets.
I'll smack my son.
So, I don't know about you guys, but I think, first of all, it's
if
funny.
you can't fund it, you can't have it.
But it's not even that. It's funny because marijuana is really a plant. And for the love of God, he created it for a reason. Now, I don't know if Moses and the Egyptians using it for medicinal purpose, but this plant has been on this earth for the end of time. So that's number one. Now, obviously, mankind has evolved the plant and added to it and taken away from it.
Evolved is evolved.
But for me, all you can really do, just like anything you do with your children, is guide them. Why is smoking not good for you? What are the repercussions from smoking? Now, at the end of the day, when that person becomes a responsible adult, they are responsible for their own actions. Now, I can't tell you what to do when you leave my home, but I can tell you what to do when you are here. And that's all I can ask of my children. And again, educate them to say, why you shouldn't do X, Y, and Z. Because it's not just marijuana; it's any drug, right?
That's the least
and
scariest. If
well,
honestly,
it's the
for
least
me
scariest, but for
personally,
some people, it can be a gate opener. Not for everyone. For some people, they have smoked weed and only smoked weed. But some people have smoked weed and lost that feeling of highness and have escalated to the other level. And it's hard to tell. You'll never know who that person is. I mean, you got functioning crackheads that go to work. You got functioning
Oh yeah,
cokeheads that
that's the
go to
truth.
work. Okay, just like you got functioning weed heads that go to work. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't even pinpoint say he's a crackhead. He's a heroin head. He's a meth head. You can't do that because there are people that naturally function and take care of their business. But what you can do is educate your children to say why you shouldn't do this, the effects it will have on you long
And why you
term.
shouldn't do it at such a young
Yeah,
age?
and then that's the other part too. At such a when
but
you
there's
get older,
studies
you
though.
develop,
There's what?
and
There's
you want to make
studies.
it, and you want to. Again, not saying I condone it, but I also know that sometimes people are gonna do what they want to do. All you can do is educate. You lead the horse to the water. I can't make him drink it. I can
Right,
only
because you do
educate.
have the parents that say, I don't condone it, but I'd rather them come to me and
Yes.
smoke with me or smoke around me or come get it from me. Is that okay?
I feel like as long as you're working for whatever you want to do, you can do it. I mean, my kids, for Jason to come and tell me I want to smoke my, all right, so paycheck, where'd you get the money that you gonna pay for what you gonna smoke? Because it's not coming out of my pocket. I'm not supporting your habit.
So it's okay as long as they're
As long
funding it.
and as long as I feel like over 18, that's fine. You can fund it. You're working for it. You want to smoke, smoke. I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of there's functioning people that do work on it, and that's fine. There's other people that don't. You gotta test to see who you are in that moment. From my younger kids, no, until you're like 18 and you can work for your own. That is not coming out of my pocket. Not your allowance that you're spending to go and get high. No, do it yourself. There's people that smoke for anxiety. I mean, I'm only speaking on marijuana, but that's I'm okay with if you do it with your money, not with my money. I'm not supporting it.
You already know it's not going down in my house.
Not in my house either, because I don't smoke in my house either. So you not smoking in my house, but it's just like if you. My son is about to turn 18. He just turned 17. If he comes to me next year that he wants to smoke and he's working, I don't really see it because I don't see it with him. I don't see it with he's not that type of kid. But if Julius, my 11-year-old, when he turns 18 and he comes, I want to smoke, all right, it's going to be on your money and on your time.
As a parent, as an adult, I seem to have a problem with that. To this day, I will not dare pull out a cigarette or a joint in front of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a costumbre about, you know, allowing my children to just pull out and roll a joint in front of me too. I
I
mean,
don't think my
is it
kids
just
would,
me?
though. I don't think my kids would. I think they would hide it. They would have more respect. They wouldn't show it. I think, like, I would want them to come and tell me, of course, everything they're doing. But honestly, that's not really even going to happen. But for them to do it, I would think that they would hide out of respect because they know. If I'm already in a household, you're not cursing in front of me. Even my 17-year-old, you say hell, and I'm like, hey, language. You don't need to show that aggression in my house.
But how many households are like that? What about these children that have dirty, filthy mouths?
I
And
have
you
friends.
But you got to think of, if a child is talking like that, they have to get it from somewhere.
And then you don't have to associate yourself with those kind of people if it bothers you.
You gotta think of it like that. They don't just pick up, that language. They get, either they're watching something inappropriate, or somebody who's in their life, in their immediate circle, is
Like their mama.
like that. You know, your
Who?
friends, yeah, maybe your friends, maybe your mom, maybe you ear hustling and it's the adults in your family talking and you got your ear to the door. Whatever it is, though, they're picking it up from somebody because children are sponges. Children repeat and do what they see. That's what they're visual learners as well.
How many times have you walked the streets and you heard people cursing?
All the time.
All the time.
You know, just like, listen, when you take the bus, you ever take the bus in the morning, kids going to high school? And
those kids
listen to their conversations. Listen to their conversations.
And you know what's crazy? I tell my kids, because I don't really take public transportation like that. But I tell my kids, I better not hear you talk like that or act like that in the street.
It's disgusting.
How the kids that just go and hit people or senior citizens in the street. What kind of kids are that?
I don't even like the pants. I should not see your underwear.
Oh, I hate that too. I hate that too.
That way, you know what? You know why? Because, and this really shows the lack of education. That streams from men being incarcerated and telling other men that they're available.
Also music.
Okay? Music.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah. But now if you want to go deeper than that, it's also called breaking the buck.
But
if you want to go deeper, let's go deeper with that. It's called breaking the buck. So back in slavery times, when the white master used to break a buck, you being the black man, he would have anal intercourse with you, and you would wear your pants low like that, and that's how everybody other slave master knew that he broke the buck. You being
really?
the black man. Yes. So why would you seem to think that it is okay to want to wear your pants down like that?
Well, you're 20, 30 years late on that.
Yeah.
No, I know.
It's become a fad to the point that if you don't wear your pants down, something's wrong with you.
No, my kids do not.
So now that's the historical aspect of it. Let's talk about the medical aspect. Because your pants are not on your waist, you are spreading your hip bone wider to keep your pants above, which means you are jacking your hip bone, you idiots. Okay? So now
And who the hell is gonna listen to that?
That's right. But when you have one leg shorter than the other, and you're in physical therapy, or you're in a wheelchair, then you should have thought about wearing your pants at your kneecaps. Oh, you don't wear no pants, bro. Let it hang. You got boobsy, let it hang. Why wear the pant? What does the pant symbolize? I don't want to see the crack of your behind. It is grotesque, it is embarrassing, and it is quite nasty. And then again, when you really think, read up on breaking the buck. It's called breaking the buck. And that's what the white slave masters used to do to you.
I'm going to take a look at that because I didn't know that.
And it's called breaking the buck. And then how they knew, the other slave masters knew that you were broken into, you wore your pants low. Or when you go to jail.
I got it from jail.
I thought it was from jail.
Yeah, there is a jail aspect. You're free and you're available. Go back and look up Breaking the Buck and educate yourself. People are ridiculous. When you want to sit here and talk about stuff like that, that is just, I don't get it. And if the day my son ever even thought about coming out the house like that, you won't sit for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I completely
You
agree.
won't sit for a week. That's unacceptable. Have some damn decency and some pride in how you look when you come out in these streets. And then you wonder why people treat you the way that they treat you. Look at how you look.
Right.
Look at how
the
you
stigmatism of it.
Look at how you look. Who wants to have any type of business dealings with you outside of you selling crack or meth? What else are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing in your community? Because it's hard to tell because your pants are at your freaking ankles. How serious can I take you? No,
did we have that in the 80s? In the 80s?
I think it was
the
big
pants
pants
and trench coats.
Say that again?
Big pants.
No.
But Naughty by Nature started in the 90s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then you had the crisscross phase, jump, you wear your clothes backwards. Okay, so we had the wear your clothes backward phase. And then men back then always wore, you guys know, Timberlands, Gore-Tex, puffy coats. Y'all remember what Jodeci used to wear with the overalls? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That was the look. But it was spacious enough where your junk wasn't tight. Like you ever see somebody?
So
first of all, some of these pants you men are putting on, your sack is too tight. Let's just be upfront about that.
So when do you think it became apparent?
It's disgusting.
When do you think? What year?
Those are jeggings on a man. You're wearing jeggings.
Oh no, I see some tight.
I should not see the shape of your ass and your penis. I have a problem with that. Okay, I have a problem.
But
with
that's
that.
also a culture thing
I
because
don't care.
It is becoming a culture thing. It is.
Culture is
Listen.
but the question is, why
I
is
don't
that
wanna,
acceptable
I don't
in
wanna,
any
oh, my
culture?
Spanish men, my
I don't
Spanish
care.
man is out here
Where
doing
are
the
you
China.
going? Listen, I don't think medically your sack should even be that tight. Okay?
No.
Because if you're trying to have kids, you are messing up your whole boys. Okay? You're not supposed to, nothing is supposed to be sucking. Even for women, your underwear shouldn't be that tight. We have to do a health show. We have to do a show just
Hygiene.
on health, hygiene.
Yes.
Okay? You
No,
know,
but
Hygiene
it's
is
it,
important. Oh yes.
it's the
always wearing thongs, wearing pants that fit your testicles. Like, we need to have a dialogue just on healthcare.
it's true. It's true. It's true.
IG, take care of yourself.
No, that's
Why you
what that's
come outside
supposed
looking
to.
like that? How you gonna run from the cops anyway? You selling drugs?
How you gonna run from the cops if your
And
pants
your
are
pants-
They
biting?
run like penguins.
Where you going, stupid? Your ass deserves to get arrested. Just looking at stupid like a penguin, like an emperor penguin running. Look at this idiot down the block. No, you deserve to go to jail for that. We're gonna do a show on that.
Let's do it.
Below the pants.
Let's do it. Let's do it. But that's the truth, because I remember back in the 80s and the 90s, if you went to school with that tight ass ish on, you get called all kinds of names. You faggot, you this, you that. If you had, I mean, but today it's okay.
But it's the,
Growing up, it was all phases.
of course,
You had the bell bottoms,
yes, the wide leg,
right? Then you had the corduroys.
yes,
You had
the baggy,
the baggy.
the overalls.
Now it's just all around.
But here's
No,
the,
but there's no need to have your pants
but
below
there's
your
no
butt.
need to have your pants. As
And
a
then
man,
the thing
I'm
is
sorry,
that, like,
as a man,
As a
I'm
man.
just saying as a man, because even with a woman, your pants shouldn't be that tight because that causes yeast infection. But again, that's another hygiene shit. We'll talk about that. But as a man, please explain to me why your pants need, and the question is need, to be that tight. How are you moving?
Fashion statement.
Fashion statement.
Fashion statement. You
And
will see men's jeans go above their ankle.
High waters. We used to call them high waters.
We used to call them high waters.
You wasn't supposed to be rocking no high waters.
Hello.
They think that women's jeans.
But then, but that's a whole nother topic, and that's a whole other show. Because, but that goes with hormones. There's a lot of estrogen and a lot of things, and that's
Okay.
hormones.
All right. Y'all, you getting this? You getting into it?
Yes.
Estrogen?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just that there's a lot of things in our food, the same way that there's testosterone, there's estrogen, there's a lot of things that
You think it's causing the male species to
to
flip
feminize.
this?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into factor there.
There's
Yeah.
a chicken from 1995 to 2000 to now.
Yeah.
I seen a piece of chicken damn near the size of my hand.
Yeah.
Well, that's because what they're injecting.
That's
So
why.
oven stuffer, no chicken. Now listen. Again, my husband, his family has a beautiful house in St. Croix. And when you're over in St. Croix, chickens want free. So, we was over. I said, damn, baby, we're not going to catch that. There goes dinner. Dinner. Are we catching that? Because there goes dinner, But when you look at these chickens, you realize how normal size they are. They're not these fat birds that you see. They're not that big. Chickens are not supposed to be looking that pudgy. It's what they are injecting into the chicken. And we eat chicken. Almost every family, a staple in their household
It's chicken.
is chicken. No matter what, even if you're vegan, you probably have a piece of chicken or fish somewhere in your house for protein.
So when you see that big plump chicken, you look at.
Your chickens look like that. I know what a normal chicken, because I've seen chickens, normal
Right.
chickens, just
It's not only
walk
the
on
chicken,
by.
boo. It's glue in the meat. It's also
everything. And then you think of
biochemically engineered.
Even the fish. I don't like unless it's wild caught. I don't buy it.
But how do you know it's wild caught? Just because it's on the label?
At least I have
That's
you
the
know what?
only,
You may be right. You may be right,
that's the
but I'll
only
take
thing.
that.
Versus a farm front.
I'll take that versus farmed.
Farms.
I'll take that versus farmed.
Yeah,
I know.
there's
It's
a lot of
tricky.
there's a lot of
It's
things
tricky.
that go into that
It's
too,
tricky.
though. Right?
I know
Yeah,
it's
it's just a
tricky.
lot.
It's just it's tricky because if you think
Bugs
about
are
it,
the future.
and the if
You gonna eat some bugs? Bugs are the future. That's what. That's
I've
gonna
watched
be.
enough National Geographic. I'll probably do a grub, and some bugs they taste like lemon drops. I think they said it was termites. I would indulge if I had to, but that is a straight if I had to. I would rather squirrel stew.
What?
I don't know if I
Catch
can
a
eat
squirrel,
What?
peel that skin back,
I don't know.
gut it, and boil it.
That's like 2 steps away from a rat, babe.
I
I can't do it, babe. I can't do it. That's rodent family.
No. Hard times calls for desperate measures. Y'all know what we gonna be eating.
I'd rather eat bugs.
Y'all don't know what we gonna be eating. God forbid. You better know how to skin a squirrel and act like y'all know.
I mean, I will come to find out,
Squirrel
and I
a la
will learn.
plain.
But
You ain't gonna even know the difference by the time you put that barbecue sauce on it. Yum yummy. In your tummy.
So we want to take the time. We've been into this conversation. We have not been paying attention to any of the comments that's been coming through, and a lot of comments have been coming through. So first of all, what the topic that you had mentioned is a different show.
Oh yes.
They want to hear. They want to hear about that.
Hygiene.
They want to show on hygiene.
We'll talk about it.
They're ready for that.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Let's break it down.
We had another comment that agreed about the pants below, stemming from prison, and the stigma behind that is ridiculous. Okay.
that's a trend I'm okay with not being here at all.
It's not needed.
It's just it's really not needed.
But it's not needed. What is it? What are you saying?
Right.
What message are you giving with that look? I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. You're not the only one, boo.
I don't get it. All right, what else?
We have a comment of an audience member who works at an elementary school, and so he wants to testify to the fact that kids are ruthless.
They are.
And
So-
horrible in
And
school.
is this person a teacher?
No, he's not. He's not a teacher.
He's not a teacher, but you know what? He still works in for the Board of Ed
Education.
and in education. And if for him to make that statement, I'm sure that he has had hands-on experience. And again, it stems back.
He blames it on the parents.
I was going to say, it stems
Yeah.
back to the parents.
It's home. It's from home.
It starts at home.
You
And
gotta
if you
teach
teach
them.
your children that behavior is acceptable, then they go into the world, including school or anywhere they go, doctor's office, thinking that behavior is acceptable. And it's not. And it truly is not. So thank you to that person for highlighting that.
We have another comment who agreed that back in the day when we were given something to eat, it was either that or starve. There was no plan B, plan C, no hug or come here, it's okay, baby, it's all right. Nope, this is what you're eating,
That's right.
or that's it. You agree?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you guys. Awesome. Oh, we got an awesome. Awesome.
Thanks, guys, for watching.
Lady D and Jennifer is awesome.
Aw, thank you. Always a pleasure.
All right. So with that said, this was a great conversation, ladies. Thank you. Great conversation. Always, Miss Lady D, always. And Jennifer, you gotta come join us
We're gonna
again.
do the hygiene show.
Oh.
Yes, because
So I hear that people want to hear about the hygiene show. We're definitely going to talk about that because honestly, I'm sorry. And you know what? And just to give you a little bit of tidbit, there's so many new products on the market for men now, for your beard down to your toes. There is no reason why half of y'all ain't up to par.
No, I agree.
The
I
soaps,
agree.
the scrubs,
I agree.
There is no reason why you men are not up to par. There's just too much stuff out there. You've seen those old Spice
Yeah, but
commercials.
don't look at me when you say that. Go somewhere
No,
else.
You know damn well.
No. He's not a problem. He's not a problem.
in that
But still,
category.
he's the only man on the panel.
Yeah.
I look at you. Who else would look at that?
No, but I understand
This is
exactly
too stuff out there
what
for
you're saying.
for y'all to be funk box.
But in all honesty, it is a lot of men. I'll agree with that. But there are
Females too.
females
Oh yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah. There's some dirty females.
Oh
Stop
yes.
it.
Oh
I have.
yes. Oh yes. You not smelling that? Check that shit.
I feel like that's a culture thing too,
That's
though.
true. Check
That's
your
a
smell
culture
that.
thing too. I don't
Not
want to
like
get
it.
on it though.
Look. That shit.
Do that again.
That's you.
It's true. It's true. So we got a date here. We're gonna have an episode on proper hygiene for both men and female. Okay, and I'm gonna need another
You gonna have to bring
dude
another guy
with me here,
Yeah.
and we've got you two, and we're gonna talk about it. And you know what? Not just male and female. I'm just thinking of
What?
children.
Touche, because some of these children are funk boxes.
Children.
But
yeah,
that
yeah,
also
yeah.
streams from the parents.
That
but
parents,
we'll
that's
dive
parents,
into that as
though.
well. We'll dive into that as well.
But that shows, right? Because, like, how are you not tell? Like, me as your friend, you stink. I'm gonna tell you, you stink.
Right. Me too.
I'm
Me
gonna
too.
tell you, yo.
Me too.
Listen, I got deodorant in the corner. You know, bro, here, stick a gum. These kids are not aware.
Well,
Kids are not
the
aware.
bigger you are, you need to be more conscious.
Exactly.
You got more roles, more skin.
But the thing is that, like, kids are not also, like,
But it
telling
goes
their
back-
kids,
goes
but then laughing
back.
behind backs. Oh, yeah, you see this
But
one
no,
or
but
that.
it goes back to parenting. You know, when you have daughters, especially when we talk about our hygiene, there's a level that you know, don't tell me wrong. I don't speak any different to my son. He knows he has to take a bath every night. But my daughter knows you don't hit that bed until your skin touches water.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Because you're a girl, you have open areas. And this is what you should be teaching your daughters.
But there's a difference in culture. There's people that don't take showers every day.
Because they feel like you're washing away your natural oils.
Exactly.
But if
That's
your
what I'm
oils is producing a scent and you are in public, you need to address the scent.
I agree with
But we're going to
you.
talk about that. Don't even get me started about scent and smells. That is my pet peeve.
Yes.
I think it's a lot of
Yeah.
people. I think
Yes.
it's a lot of people.
No, that
though.
is my pet peeve.
That's a pet peeve
You
for
don't
me.
smell that?
Hygiene. What?
You don't smell that. You didn't check yourself.
I agree,
I'm done.
Green.
I'm done. I am done.
Okay.
Check
Okay.
yourself.
You check yourself? Is that me?
That's
All right. So for sure, we got a date on that. We're gonna leave it there. I thank everybody for joining in for today's live. All of our audience members. We want to remind you to don't forget to hit that share button, that follow button, and that like button. Okay. Share the live from all of your friends. Share this live on your feed as well. It would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for all the comments and questions that we have. We invite those comments and those questions on every live or recorded episode that we have. Bring them on. Even after the live is over today, feel free to send in your comments, send in your questions on any thought that you may have on this topic. You can also send your suggestions on any future topics that you would like to see us talk about here at the Caliente Corner. Okay? Ladies, is there any last minute things that y'all would like to say?
Good night and stay blessed. That's
Yes.
it.
Everyone have a safe night, and we're back to routine. All the parents, moms, and dads, let's have a great school year. All the children, let's have a great, safe school year. Pay attention in class, listen to your mom and dad, get your schoolwork done, and this will be a good, safe year, God willing.
Excellent. We also want to say hail to the Queen.
Oh, Queen
no.
Elizabeth.
No, I don't even want to get. That's a whole nother
That's a whole
topic.
nother
That's a
topic.
whole nother show.
But condolences
I
but
just
condolences to her family and the royal family. At the end of the
I have
day,
different
she's-
beliefs.
But
I'm
she's
sorry.
still someone's mother. She's still someone's grandmother.
Sure.
And as a human being, regardless of your political stance, someone lost their mom, someone lost their grandparent today.
She lived a very long
and
and
she lived
wealthy
a very
life.
long, prosperous life.
of which we would like to live that long of a prosperous and
Not
healthy
eating
life
preservative,
too.
These preservatives. We'll talk about that later.
Like that
Not too
chicken.
much.
That chicken.
That's too much.
But you know when you put it in context, someone lost a grandmother, someone lost a mom, someone lost a loved one. So
Every day though.
condolences. Every day, every day.
It
every
is
day.
it is every day.
Every day.
But why I give homage to it right now is, first of all, it just
Every day.
happened, and you can't get away from it because it's all over the
everywhere.
damn television.
It's everywhere.
Okay. And on top of that, like Lady D said, she was good people. In my opinion, she was good people. She spoke in a positive manner, in the best way that she can. Now I'm looking at your face. I'm looking at your face. So we might have to talk about this afterwards.
We can talk about this because colonization right now, and
listen.
how many countries are still under British rule, and there's a lot more.
All
that
right, well,
goes
you're going into a whole different thing. I got it. I got it, but that's not her fault.
And that was my point. You got to remember, this was passed down to her.
Yes.
And although you
And
may
she
say
said that she was gonna rule until she died.
and she did, she kept the promise.
And
You can't be mad
she
at
did.
for that.
I'm not mad at her. Oh no, I'm not mad at her. It's not that I'm mad at her. And no, condolences and rest in peace. Of course, she's somebody's grandmother and she's a mother and everything. It's just the whole aspect of
You don't like the monarch thing. I get it. Okay. All right. But we didn't say do you like the monarch or not. We said rest in peace.
You said hail. I ain't hailing
Okay.
nobody. Stop it. You know I'm not no groupie. It's not happening. Rest in peace.
I did say hail to the queen.
Yeah, yes, condolences, sure, of course, to her family and of course, but it's just there's a lot of hidden and more.
All you Englandites, she didn't mean it.
No, and I'm pretty sure your taxes and everything are in order. Sure.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Thank you guys for joining in. And as we always say, if you if you made any goals today, if you accomplished any goals today, or any achievements, don't forget to say to yourself, this is how we do it. Good night.